Markets give up early gains but off day's low. Nifty above 21,650. Sensex near 71,800. Broader markets in tandem with benchmarks. Mid caps and small caps gain around 0.5% each.
Meanwhile, Polycab and Focus hits lower circuit after Income Tax Department unaccounted cash sales of rupees 1,000 crore. All eyes on what lies ahead for the company now.
Corporates leave currency unhedged as stable rupee overshadows uncertainties. It's an NDTV Profit exclusive.
Well, IT juggernauts, TCS Infi to kick off earnings season. Analysts expect muted revenue growth on the back of margin pressure and gloomy demand outlook.
And another exclusive. Maruti Suzuki's chairman R.C. Bhargava estimates 15 to 20% of total production from EV by 2031 and the first lot of EV cars to be exported.
Good afternoon and welcome. You're watching Market IQ on NDTV Profit. Quick check on where markets are. 0.25% higher on the Nifty. We had the Nifty above 21,700 briefly at the start of trade today. But since then, it's been a pretty flat day. Tight band where the Nifty has been trading ever since. That little bit of a spike in early trade. What we are seeing with regard to broader markets, we are seeing the Nifty small cap as well as the mid cap outperform the Nifty 50. That's been the theme of 2024 as of now. In terms of broader sectoral indices, quickly moving on, you have the likes of a Nifty Bank up around 0.2%. Nifty Auto leading the pack 1.4% higher. You have the likes of the Nifty PSU Bank, which is also trading higher. And you also have the likes of the Nifty Fin, which is trading around 0.4% higher as well. The Nifty IT on the back of those earnings of the biggies trading slightly lower, but nothing to complain about from markets, Smriti, except where Polycab is concerned.
Right.
That stock in focus, if we can have the graph on that one, it was locked in lower circuit for quite some time, at least the first 40 minutes of trade. But thereafter, circuits have opened. Stock is down still 20%.
Right, still 20% down. And this is on the back of search and seizures that happened on the company locations. Now, the Income Tax Department came out with a statement last night saying what they found, and they found incriminating evidences of 1,000 crore of unaccounted cash sales, along with some non-genuine expenses. So that's what the Income Tax Department has said. But Hersh, what options does Polycab have going forward?
Well, yeah, so first off, they can probably go ahead, and we spoke about this today morning, they can file a writ petition before the High Court. That, of course, is every company's right. So that's one piece. The other piece also is that once the assessment orders for the last 6 to 7 years post the search, all the formalities of the search, once they're completed and once they have 6 to 7 years of assessment orders in their hands, they can appeal those assessment orders. The more important question here, though, is the fact that when will they provide for the income tax, which, as and when the demand notice comes, will have to be provided for. It's likely that they may not provide it right off the bat because the company statement seems to suggest that they're fairly confident that they've disclosed everything to income tax authorities and they've cooperated. But in the unlikely event that they're not able to do that, the demand will likely be immediate, and therefore they'll have to provide for it immediately. Otherwise, it will be at the first appellate level, which is the CITA level, as they call it.
That's about Polycab. But there's another stock that's been in focus today, which is at a 52-week high, and which is Zomato. This is on the back of positive ratings from several brokerages. We have Mahima to tell us more on this. Mahima, tell us a little bit about what brokerages are saying about Zomato.
Right, Smriti. So there was an HSBC on Zomato today, which has reiterated its buy rating with a target price of 150. Now they've raised their target price from 140 to 150. They're saying that 2023 was extremely strong for Zomato. However, they expect that relatively 2024 will be muted in terms of stock performance and business. However, from a long-term perspective, they remain very constructive on Zomato, and this is because they're highly dependent on continued progression of QC business. They've also said that slowing down of QC growth could be a key downside risk for Zomato, and again they've said that Q3 and Q4 are unlikely to drive major earning upgrades for Zomato. Now this is what HSBC said on Zomato. We also had a couple of brokerages last week that came out for Zomato. One was Elara on Zomato, which has again maintained a positive stance on Zomato and has given a buy rating again with a target price of rupees 150. And we also had Morgan Stanley on Zomato, which says that Zomato remains their top pick on favorable market structure, strong execution, and improving visibility on profitability. So brokerages are very positive on Zomato so far.
Right, brokerage is positive on Zomato. Stock up 2%. Hitting its 52-week high now, 150 rupees. From that 40 rupee number, we're a far cry, or rather, sorry, my apologies, 137 rupees. We're a far cry away from that 40 rupee number that we saw, almost a year or so back. But it's a big day for IT. Going to switch focus. TCS Infosys to come out with their Q3 numbers today. We spoke to Sandeep Agarwal, who's the fund manager and co-founder of Sovilo Investment Manager earlier today, about things to watch out for and if hiring could be one of the most important metrics for some of these companies. Listen in to a slice of that conversation.
It is not so easy to relate manpower to the demand environment for multiple reasons. One, always remember that the fresher hiring is generally much ahead of the actual time when these people come and execute. And secondly, in this industry, what happens if the demand is very high, generally the benches are very thin. So you end up in a situation where you have to hire very aggressively and you need immediate resource. And in that race, generally you end up hiring much more resources than you probably need. And if this demand then starts slowing down or there is some kind of problem, then it takes time also to reduce that resources. So the net hiring numbers, despite good growth and good revenues, they generally may show up for 3-4 quarters a negative territory and may mislead the actual demand environment, because the rationalizing of higher hiring which you have done in the past, that takes place. But having said so, let me put it this way, that right now we also, there is one impact of general AI and things playing out where the efficiency is the key factor. And because of that, the earlier 10-15 years back, when you were able to calculate the revenues based on the guidance of the manpower, that formula doesn't work anymore.
That was Sandeep Agarwal on the IT space in India. But moving on to the currency markets, the stability in the Indian rupees has turned corporates complacent, especially the mid-size and smaller ones, resulting in large unhedged foreign currency exposures. That's according to people who spoke to NDTV Profit. Memansa is joining us with more on that. Good afternoon, Memansa. We've seen a lot of RBI intervention in the currency markets. What are you making out of this development about unhedging by mid and small corporations?
Yeah, right. So corporates usually have to hedge their foreign currency exposures. Now, the larger corporates do have a risk management policy in place, so they are mandated by the board to hedge their foreign currency exposure. But what we have got to know is that the mid-size and the smaller corporates, importers and exporters, are not hedging their forex exposure, which could create troubles for these companies if there is any volatility that comes back. Now, what they are saying is that because the RBI has kept the rupee in such a tight range, 83.25 to 83.40 a dollar for last 4 months or so, they don't expect the rupee to move very widely in the coming months as well. But what the experts are telling us, that if at all there is any geopolitical concerns or any rise in crude oil prices, the rupee will depreciate. And on the other side, if the rupee was to appreciate because of the flows that are expected to come in, plus the stability that is expected to continue because market participants are expecting that BJP will come back in power again. So the view on the rupee is more or less stable for now, but in case of any incremental move, the rupee may move either ways, and that is when it is more prudent for corporates to hedge their exposures. Now, importers are hedging only a part of their foreign currency exposure, that too in very near month forwards, which is on a cash basis, that is 1 day exposure or 10 days or 15 days. But exporters are not really hedging because they are rather going to exotic options to hedge their forex exposures.
Right. Thanks so much for that very comprehensive analysis of what's happening in the forex markets and what corporates need to be actually mindful of. But let me switch focus to Vibrant Gujarat. Day 2 of the summit has seen the finance minister talk about opportunities in GIFT City. The railways minister, Ashwini Vaishnaw, also highlighted the possibilities in the semiconductor space. We have Janani here with us. She's at ground zero, talking to us about all the latest happenings of Vibrant Gujarat. Take it away, Janani.
It's the second day of the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit, and here we're having some interesting developments, particularly on the new age sectors like semiconductors, which have taken the forefront today. Earlier today, Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw addressed the gathering here. He was speaking about how the budding semiconductor ecosystem that's building here in the state will require 1 million talent, and their training institutes will be established in the country, and already tie-ups with over 100 universities have already been made. Talking of the significant achievements coming for the semiconductor industry, there have been 3 MOUs that have been signed. One, of course, is between the government of Gujarat here and Simtech. So that's one of the MOUs that we were already aware of. There is another MOU between Micron and Namtech. Now, Namtech is ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel's initiative. So an MOU between them, of course, that's another one. It's about building talent again, world-class talent pipeline. There's also one between Cisco and Namtech, which we just mentioned to you. So that's 3 MOUs being signed here right now. Again, most of them focusing on the academic prowess, developing that talent here. There was also an address by the finance minister a little earlier today. She was talking about the potential at the GIFT IFSC, and she was talking about what it would take to take this further and make it a fintech innovation hub. And she was talking about how global fintech players, Indian fintech players should be here. It's the city to be. If we look at the fintech adoption in the country, it's at 87%, much higher than the global average of 64%. So that's already making quite some headway on that particular topic. She also mentioned how direct listing, overseas direct listing is something on India's agenda, and that's something that's progressing steadily, something that will also happen very soon, she said. She was also talking about how green growth and green priorities, something we also heard from, GIDC when we had an exclusive chat with them earlier today. That's been, an important priority here. She was talking about how there is a funding gap of about 10 trillion, in meeting the net zero 2070 target, and that problem needs to be addressed. So those are some takeaways here, something that will be focused on here at Vibrant Gujarat heading into day 2. We'll have to see what the rest of the day unfolds.
Absolutely, and we'll keep you posted on what the rest of the day unfolds. Thanks a lot for that, Janani. Let's take a quick short break. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit. We have more updates on the other side.
Welcome back. You're watching Market IQ on NDTV Profit, and we've already seen a lot of global retailers coming to India in 2023, and that momentum continues in 2024. A swarm of global retailers are queuing up to open stores in India, where the new generation shoppers are hungry for more glitzy brands. We have Sesa joining us on this. Sesa, what can we expect? When can we expect Hooters in India?
Right, so as many as 160 brands, like you mentioned, are seeking partners to enter India's red-hot retail sector. Now, this number is highest in any year so far, and the number over the years have been only increasing. We have also seen giants like Apple enter the country last year through the FDI route, and even substantial investments, made by large Indian businesses like those of the Reliance Industries have also increased the urgency of foreign retailers to tap the Indian market. Now, within this 160 brands that are looking to enter India, we have seen the coffee chains and bakery dominate the list. For instance, Thailand's largest branded coffee chain, Cafe Amazon, Peet's Coffee, which is a California-based specialty coffee roaster and retailer. Peet's Coffee is also known to be Starbucks' rival. This is also partly why Starbucks has laid out aggressive expansion plans in the country. So some of the brands are also the re-entrants. For example, French premium furniture maker Gautier. So clearly we are going to see the retail activity bustling with all such activity in the coming year.
Thanks a lot for that, Sesa. Let's move across to a management we spoke to, IndiGrid. We spoke to the management, the MD CEO, Hersh, and he spoke to us on the segments in the power space that he is particularly bullish on. Let's listen into a slice of that.
We are pretty positive about the entire electricity value chain in India currently, both for energy transition and energy security purpose. But we don't play in all part of the value chain. We play on limited parts of the entire value chain. We play on transmission, development. We won about 1,000 crore orders in December recently, where we are going to build out those transmission lines and substations over the next 2 years. The second area where we play is on solar projects. We acquired Renew recently. In the third part of the project, we play on battery storage, and we are pretty bullish on the battery storage as well. We recently won about 100 crore odd battery energy storage project with BSES Rajdhani in Delhi for the energy shift application. And that's something which we think is going to come up online very soon. So we play on these three segments, which are core of energy transition today, to enable India's journey from coal-focused to a renewable-focused economy. And therefore, we are very bullish on all these three segments.
That was MD and CEO of IndiGrid talking about the three segments that they're bullish on. But Ayodhya has been in focus for a couple of days as it is preparing for the Grand Temple inauguration, and an infrastructure revamp is underway. Before we wrap up today's edition of Market IQ, listen into the Union Minister of Aviation, Jyotiraditya Scindia, talk about the inauguration of the flight from Ayodhya to Ahmedabad.
हर्ष का विषय ये भी है कि अयोध्या में महर्षि वाल्मीकि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय हवाई अड्डा के नामांकन पर ये जो हवाई अड्डा किया गया है, और उस हवाई अड्डे से ही 30 तारीख को दिल्ली से जुड़ाव 2 प्लेन्स के साथ हम लोग ने करवाई थी, इंडिगो और एयर इंडिया एक्सप्रेस। और आज के दिवस पर अयोध्या और अहमदाबाद के बीच में एक नवीन कनेक्शन दिया जा रहा है।
Hi, thanks so much for joining in. This is the Mutual Fund Show on NDTV Profit. My name is Alex Matthew. It's